Yes, it's the Ultica tile sets. It comes free with Cataclysm. In fact, as of last week, I believe, it is now the default tile set of Cataclysm is Ultica. I think it looks pretty cool. Mostly, there's some little stuff I complain about. There are still missing tiles, but Urk is updating it basically multiple times a week. I think in preparation of 0.f, he's trying to get a lot of this broken tile stuff fixed. So that's been pretty great. I decided I was gonna pivot from undead people to Ultica and give Ultica a real shot. So, yep. I don't know if we checked this basement previously. I think we kind of bailed on most of these houses because of the cemetery monster density. Why change the default tile set? Well, basically, so I guess we'll quick save. I don't think it actually matters. But let's blind a bunch of people. So, in my opinion, so this previously it was Retro Days. I don't know which Retro Days. There's the three of them apparently. We'll go with Plus because I gotta assume that's the right one. So I'll swap to. This is what the default tile set was a week ago, and this is Retro Days is a very complete tile set. Some people really like Retro Days, and I'm not trying to badmouth it. It is too much. It bothers my eyes a lot. Mostly it's these ground tiles. They're just too much little detail. So when I'm like zoomed out or even when I'm zoomed in, all of this, like look how many little, like there's very little negative space. There's not a lot of solid color. It's a lot of these little details. It really bothers my eyes personally. I think it's an interesting tile set. I think it's a very complete tile set. And I even think it's kind of cool and like 20 years ago I would have loved it, but nowadays I'm kind of snobby. I want a real tile set. And I think, if I'm being perfectly honest, I think most people who come to Cataclysm, if this was what they saw, they would be kind of turned off, because most people aren't going to be not turned out. They would be turned off because I think most people want something that's like pretty and kind of up to modern standards, and this is much more retro. It's called Retro Days. So I think the transition to Ultica is ultimately going to lead more people to stay with the game. Because honestly, well, and even using myself as an example, when I started Cataclysm for the first time, I thought there were no tile sets. I thought it was all ASCII, and I was like, I'm not doing this. I put the game down for like 6 months because I was like, I don't want to play an ASCII game. I only want to play something with a tile set. And then someone pointed out like, hey, there's an actual tile set, and I came back, and now I've been playing Cataclysm for years. So I like the aesthetic of Retro Days, but it's just too tiny. Yeah, part of it is the tininess. I feel the same way about Caves of Cud. I think Caves of Cud, by all accounts, is a really great game, but something about that tile set, it just really bothers my eyes. In a higher size would be better. Ultica is having issues with character and monster representation. I actually think most monsters have tiles. I think the main thing that Urk has been kind of complaining about is the fact that a lot of items, when you drop them on the ground, don't have a tile. So if I drop this glass jar of pickles, it does have a sprite, but if I drop something like the Survivor Telescope, it does not. So his thing is like, I want to get a lot of the item sprites fixed. I think it looks great. I really like Ultica's style a lot. It's less cartoony than Undead People. Still fairly new to the game, playing on a fork called Bright Knights, finally learning combat enough to come out of some fights without getting hit. Yeah, Bright Knights is, I have not played it, but it's one that I know on the dev Discord, it recently got its own sub channels so that people can talk specifically about the development of Bright Knights and stuff. So it must be pretty popular. Um, and I have not tried it. I'm not really a mod guy. I'm much more of a vanilla player. If I do play with mods, it's usually something small. Like, did we turn on my caches mod? We did. So like the only mod I'm using is no fungal monsters, and the caches mod, which is like little tiny bunkers in the wilderness full of free crap. You know, I don't know. It's a small mod I made years, like probably 2 years ago. Baker's Companion will take, and of course we're going to check the basement. What was this again? We will take some peanut butter, I guess, and toast them. So we'll head down. Showing proportions right is bad. Tiles are square. Tile set design should take that in account. His ignores it. Yeah, I think that sometimes it's better to have non-square tiles. Like I think the forest in Altica. Oh, we can't see through this fence. I think the forest in Altica looks way better because the tree sprites are bigger than one tile, bigger than one little square tile. So I do think that there are times when it's appropriate to do so without really harming the game. I suppose it could be problematic if you were trying to see what's directly behind the tree. I suppose, but I would prefer those taller tiles. Look at the character tile. Yeah, I guess it is a little bit too big to be in the square. I don't really see. I don't know what the problem with that really is though. I think it looks fine. Personally, anyway, I don't know. Anyway, let's check this basement. Should have been checking the basement. Linoleum tile workbench. So we're not going to get any heating elements out of those either. There are snakes though, so that's some meat. Not too big, I mean not clear. I don't know. I think it looks clear. I guess I don't know what you mean. I think we're going to kill these snakes for meat because they're not mutants, so they actually give regular meat. I don't know how many of them there are though, and they can be hard to hit. What is that? Sulfuric acid. Rollerblades, no thank you. Bubble wrap, no. Glass jar. What is this? Solid rock. Old machinery, sure. We don't have prying. I don't. Oh, we do have. We have a hammer, right? If only you had something to pry it with. I guess we don't have a hammer. I think non-square tiles are fine as long as the terrain is still clearly indicated, so you don't make errors in movement. I don't. Yeah, I just I don't think I understand what you mean by not clear. Royal jelly. It does say panacea, but it's not actually a panacea anymore. It doesn't have any medical benefit. Yeah, okay. We'll take it just for something to eat, I guess. Why not? Take the welding goggles since we've seen them and we don't know that we have one of those already. Alright, let's go gather the materials we need. What is heavy duty frame? What a weird thing to keep in your basement. One damaged. Oh, that's right. Yes, butcher the sewer. Bring the sewer rat. The sewer rat. I'm sorry, sewer snake. The sewer snake is 89 pounds. Are you kidding me? What a weird. I thought they were non-mutated. Can we butcher you? Butcher, quick butcher. It is mutant meat. Why? It's a sewer snake. Why is it mutated? It doesn't say giant snake or anything. I thought this was a regular snake. So that's a bummer. Royal jelly, guess a wink to NetHack. Well, we used to have royal jelly like a couple months ago. Would cure basically everything in the game. But it was changed recently so that it doesn't just cure everything anymore. So now it kind of says like, oh, some people think that it cures everything, but it actually doesn't. So it used to be really powerful. But yeah, royal jelly has been featured in. I think it's in what's that game? Spelunky as well has royal jelly in it. Makes you strong, which I think is what NetHack does. Anyway, we're not going to eat mutant meat because we're, not dying. So why would we eat tumors and stuff? Sewer snake is a mutant. Snake is not. Okay. Just encountered a sewer snake for the first time earlier today. If I recall, the description did say it's mutated. Yeah, I wondered. Yes, disable. I don't care. Sewer snake. Boop. Aggressive mutant variety of the worm snake. Yeah, okay, so it says. I just didn't notice that. Enable achievements again. It's a wink to NetHack that has been removed. Yeah, I mean, royal jelly is a real thing that was advertised through history as a cure-all. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had it. I know it exists. I know some people, I guess, have had royal jelly. I've never had such a thing. I don't know anything about it. I just know that it used to be a cure-all and it's not anymore. So let's smash some things. Stop smashing the glass. Yes, I want the rubber hose, please. And then we want the heating element. Disassembling will probably give us more heating elements than if we smashed it, so we'll do that. Royal jelly. Yeah, I've never had royal jelly. I've had. You ever have honey that has? I know it's not the same thing, but have you ever had honey that has the honeycomb in it? That's pretty unusual thing around here. I spent my whole childhood never having had that, but people talk about it like it's amazing. And I'm noticing a lot of these like indie, not indie, yeah, I guess indie is the accurate word. Beekeepers who sell honey with the comb in it. And I always wanted to try that, and I never did. I've heard it's gross, actually. Like I've heard that it's just like waxy, papery stuff that kind of ends up in your mouth afterwards. It's just honey, but with like papery waxiness to it. So I don't really, but I always wanted to try it because, like, you know, I never had it, and I thought, I don't know, it looks interesting. It looks so different, but at least we have the boop as something familiar. I don't know what that is. I think it's the nectar adult honeybee queens secrete for the larva specifically. Yeah, I honestly, I don't want to say because I feel dumb that I don't know things, but like I kind of thought maybe it had something. It doesn't matter. Let's not. I don't want to embarrass myself. It's a scam. Okay. Oh yeah, honeycombs themselves are basically edible wax paper. It's gross. Yeah, like that's kind of what I've heard, but also in the back of my head, I'm like, it might be delicious though. The tile set, and you often say boop. Yes, I do. I shouldn't. I don't know why I say things sometimes. Let's pull these zombies up here. I guess there's really not houses over here. If we were smart, we would have gone to the south instead because these are a lot of stores. So I think we'll just go back towards base and head south where there are houses where we can get rubber hoses and heating elements, which is what we need. So why would you go into town to the stores for heating elements and stuff when there's obviously not going to be stoves? So we want to kind of head down here where there's a cluster of houses all around. Would be the best place to go. We will drop stuff off back at base since we picked up food and some other miscellaneous crap. Guess we'll kill you since you're following me all the way home. Super rude. Super rude to follow someone home. Stalk someone. Very inappropriate. So we'll come in here. We'll drop our stuff. Yeah, we picked up a lot of food, including clam chowder. Yeah, where is there a zombie? You came right to my front door? This is so disrespectful. Let's get you out of here. I don't know how you actually found all the way to the door. You get garbage on you anyway. It's not like you have anything valuable. Let's drop our things. Drop. Yes. We don't need the cough syrup. We're going to keep the bandages on us just because of the amount of bleeding that's been taking place in the recent patches. And we're not going to need the hacksaw. We kind of want to make as much room as we can. We will take the hacksaw, actually, just in case we find some cargo spaces on a vehicle down there. There's another zombie. To the south. We'll kill you too. It doesn't matter. What kind of armor are you rocking? I'm still relying on reach attacks with spears and throwing rocks to take out zombies. I picked up some riot armor when we left our prison. We started off in a prison and escaped. So we picked up some riot armor and a riot helmet. These are pretty good by day one standards. We will, like normally I would be wearing leather at this point. So it is better than leather. It is not here. Yes, 999, which I believe leather is 6, and then I don't know what the ballistic is. So it is better than what I would normally be wearing at this point. We also have arm and elbow and knee pads, which are just always good. And we have hard arm guards in addition to that, as well as some ballistic glasses. So we're, from an armor perspective, on day 8 or whatever today is, we're pretty phenomenally equipped for that early in the game. We, of course, if if I were someone else, I would recommend like an Escapee vest or something like that. Obviously would be like the highest tier thing we're going to find this early in the game. But usually I just throw on leather clothes and that's that. And we also have a tonfa, which we picked up from the prison, which is fine for a weapon at the moment. So your Nan says, I love plant mutations. I don't really do mutations, so I don't really have a favorite tree. All I remember is that I, in the last playthrough, took some slime mutations, and everyone yelled at me and said that I should never take slime mutagens. So I don't really know what the optimal ones are. I will say I like hooves. I am a unicorn after all. So hooves are one of my preferred mutations. Plus, they're really good in melee. So I like hooves. So cattle and ursine tend to be the ones I take the most, because I like being a big strong boy. We'll go in through the window back here or the open door. Why are sappy vests so OP? Well, so it's complicated, but they were added to the game during a time when they. So basically, if I look at my armor, you'll see we have a ballistic value. This is an armor specifically against ballistic damage. Ballistic damage did not exist previously. So in order for a particular armor to be good enough to stop bullets, like the Escapee is supposed to be like a bulletproof thing, they had to really crank up the bash and cut damage. So that was part of the problem. Part of the problem is that there was no, it was not, values were not standardized. So even though it was very powerful, that's kind of where they wanted it to be. It's just that other items needed to be reevaluated and kind of done some accounting to get that sorted out. So it is very OP. I hate it. I don't wear them generally. I think we wore one in my tutorial playthrough on YouTube because obviously for a tutorial I would recommend a new player wear something like that. So it's a complicated mess. I do feel like maybe they should have been removed from the game. I did not like them being implemented, but I don't have a say in those things, so it is what it is. Let's smash the fridge, disassemble the stove. I went with point 3, item spawning, naked and afraid start, setting up a base and a farm. I don't really do a lot of the where. I wish I could see where you are, zombie. I'm gonna ignore you. I don't really do the wilderness stuff. I know a lot of people like it. It's just not really something that appeals to me personally. But I hope you have a good time with it. First week was rough, but I got lucky and the farm had a wagon, 3 horses, and reins for all of them. Pretty cool. I also don't really ride horses in this game. I know it's a thing, but I just don't do it. Again, I did that for a tutorial thing once, but it's the only time I've done it. Rubber hose, please. Rubber hose. And we'll deconstruct. Ooh, 2 stoves. Did this one have 2 stoves? No. So we'll deconstruct both of these stoves for heating elements. Ballistic and pierce damage sound a bit alike. Well, it really did need its own damage type. Honestly, it needed to be separated because we were getting situations where it's like, okay, well, we want to make an armor that is bullet resistant, but in order to do that, it would have such high cut and bash protection. I don't know if you can hear that. That's the ice cream, the snow cone lady, the calypso music playing outside. Because I guess calypso has something to do with shaved ice. I don't know how those things are connected. We talk about it every time I hear it. I wish she would not stop in front of my house with her stupid, loud music. So in order to make something bullet resistant, you had to crank up the other values so much that it unbalanced the item for other play. Because obviously, like a normal soldier is going to have that kind of gear on them. But if we put it on every soldier, then every player in every playthrough is going to get this super overpowered. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to figure things out. Ignore. Honestly, in my opinion, if it's not debug, it's fine. I would say you should play however you feel comfortable playing and whatever makes you enjoy the game. I personally dislike save scumming. I dislike cheating. I dislike overpowered items. So like you'll notice I'm using a tonfa. I don't use reach weapons because reach weapons are a little overpowered in my opinion and it makes the game a little too easy. So I for a long time have not played with spears. I generally won't wear the Escapee vest because it's like pretty powerful. But those are just my takes and what I do. You should do whatever you want. Like if you have fun, if you want to cheat in every game you play, I don't care. That's if it makes you happy, you know. Um, do you? You know, I don't want to. I don't ever want to get in a place where I'm like telling people how they should play the game. So because I see that sometimes on Discord, and it's always a bit upsetting to see people telling other people what they should and shouldn't enjoy. Which I think is a bit silly and a-hole, you know, asshole-ish. So let's yeah, next house over, please. We're gonna keep an eye out. Oh, the zombie dog came through the house to meet me. Crack smoking warlock. Thanks for the follow. Sorry I didn't shout it out before. Go get an ice cream or something. No, no. Maybe after the stream, if I feel like it, I'll go to the dollar store and get a pint for cheap. Really don't eat ice cream. I'm lactose intolerant. It's not so bad these days, but definitely still has some impact on me. So I try to avoid eating huge amount plus sugar and all that crap. So try to avoid ice cream for the most part. And then what are you? You're a firefighter, aren't you? You are. So I'm starting to recognize the tiles, which is nice. What are you? Look at this dude. Shrieker zombie. Okay. Okay. We really don't want to fight them. We're just here for materials, so I think we're just going to back off. I notice we're tired as well. I thought we slept pretty recently. But yeah, don't really do ice cream. And then this is, I believe, shaved ice, and I really don't like shaved ice just because I don't like it. I just don't like it very much. So if I were going to pick something, what about sorbet? Well, if I was going to pick something, it would be like gelato, probably. Like would be my preference if I had to pick one thing. Like that I could have like a nice cold sweet thing. It'd probably be gelato, I guess. Oh, this is not a house. But let's keep looking for materials. And again, just kind of winding down to like the end-ish of the stream here. I like gelato. There's a gelato place near here. It's much smoother, I guess, which I like. Sorbet, I like. It is like ice cream, but it's not. If I remember right, God, I don't remember. I think gelato. Does it have egg in it? I don't remember. I feel dumb. But I don't know. It has something else in it. It's just much. It's like ice cream, but it's a lot smoother. Like ice cream tends to have a lot of ice crystals in it, and depending on the size of ice crystals, that's kind of what makes ice cream kind of creamy and whatnot. And gelato always seems much smoother. It's easier to eat. For me, I have not great teeth, and I try not to bite ice cream. So you know, anything that's like smooth, you know, sorbet, any of that kind of stuff, soft serve is better. So I don't know. I just know that there's a gelato place near here, and it's freaking great. Although I don't. I'm not an ice cream guy. East Happy is more powerful than Dragon Skin. I think debug and backup is fine. Yeah, like I said, you should do you. Whatever you want. Reach weapons are OP in real life. Spears are what most soldiers were armed with. I think that I think that they are OP in the sense that they would be very powerful in managing a zombie at arm's length. I think if you ask me which would be the best thing for me to wield in the apocalypse, like a boar spear makes sense to me, you know? Something with the, I don't know what they're called, but like the arms that would prevent it from ramming through and charging at you, right? Because it would keep it at a distance. I do see value in that sort of thing. I just, they're strong in the game, and I don't really know how you nerf them or balance them in a way that's realistic without also punishing people like for no reason. And it's a difficult game balance point, I think. It's a single player game. Set your own rules. Yeah, exactly. You should do. Honestly, if you're playing Cataclysm, that's all we can really ask for, because you're supporting the project and whatnot. So, you know, murder this shrieker before they draw too many enemies to us, and continue our disassembly. No, don't start a fire. Yes. Deconstruct. Yeah, you know, as long as you're playing the game and having a good time, great. I'm not an ice cream expert. You may be dumb, but you're smarter than me. Personally, I like a sword type thing. I think just in the confines of the way I view zombies is like they are animalistic in the sense that they are single minded. They want to get at you. So the two things that come to mind, if you ask me, how do you manage an unruly zombie? Number one are the dog catcher hooks. You know, those long poles that have a loop on the end of them. Seems like a great way of controlling a zombie. And then the other one is a long weapon that would prevent them from. Because if you just stab, let's say you shove your sword into the zombie doesn't care. It doesn't feel pain. It doesn't care. It wants to kill you. So it's going to just ram the sword through itself trying to get at you. And then you're at a disadvantage because now your sword is like through a zombie and it's, you know, right up in your face, whatever. So like I said, the arms on like a boar spear, it makes perfect sense to me. I don't know. I've never actually speared a zombie in real life, or a human or a boar in real life. So my expertise is extremely limited. But it makes sense to me. In my head, it makes sense. I don't know if it actually would work out that way or not. Zombie spotted. I don't see you. Dangerously close. Okay, well, we'll kill you. Kill the zombie. And continue our... No, continue, yes. I don't think the devs have a problem punishing people for no reason with the way things are going. I think that the devs are constantly making a really awesome game. I don't really know what you mean. I see a lot of hostility for the dev team on Discord and in the forums and pretty much everywhere. And I never really understand it. In my opinion, Cataclysm is one of the top 3 games I've ever played in my life, for sure. And without the dev team, it wouldn't exist. And I think that it is difficult. What I meant earlier is that we have spears in the game that make they're reach weapons. They are very powerful, which is why they're the meta. Everyone uses spears. We would like, or I would like, I'm not a dev, I shouldn't speak for the devs. What I would like is a way to incentivize use of other weapons without having to nerf the spears. Previously, they've nerfed the spears by making them flimsy, which seemed like a game balance decision over a realism decision, and normally they're more on the realism side. So for me personally, I don't know if it's about nerfing. I think it's more like we need to figure out a way to incentivize other gameplay styles over trying to downgrade the one that exists, if that makes sense. But I think people hear that and they're like, yeah, just do that. But that's like a super difficult thing to do. And when you're making a game where one of your main drives is realism, it's really hard to say, like, I'm balancing realism with gameplay balance. Because sometimes those things go hand in hand, makes perfect sense. Like eating food, it makes sense that we would just use real world calories taken from real world sources. Perfectly sensible, makes a lot of sense. Some things need to be abstract. Some things need to be a little bit different for the purposes of making a balanced gameplay experience. So I think it's really, really hard, and I don't think it's an easy thing to do. And I think people are really passionate about the game, so some people get real upset when you start talking about stuff like that. But I don't know. I love Cataclysm, and if you watch the channel for any length of time, you know that I stand in support of the dev team, like on 99% of decisions. So I don't know, but you're entitled to that if you dislike the devs or whatever. Let's deconstruct this stove. I think we're gonna head back to base after this and probably call the stream here shortly, as I've been saying for the last hour. Cataclysm is amazing, but some of the changes I don't really agree with, and the devs don't really seem to listen to people. I mean, how do you... Why would they... Like, okay, no disrespect. Why would they listen to you? Like, even if... Like, Kevin, the guy who is in charge, owns basically the repository and everything. It's not a democracy. It's his game, It's his repository. If people really dislike what he did, someone could fork it off and make their own game and say, oh, we don't want to, whatever. But the devs are largely on the same page with each other, and that's like there's a clearly defined development direction. It's not a democracy, You like Crusader Kings. We talked about Crusader Kings earlier. The game just came out. I don't like it very much. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about it, but I don't get a say in that. That's they made the game. Like, I think people mistake sometimes open source as like player controlled, which is not correct. It's not a community based game. It's the dev team. I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to like alienate my audience who maybe disagree with the devs, and I don't want to insult the devs because I mostly support the devs. But I think that they do a great job. I don't know. I don't have the complaints a lot of people do. Honestly, the biggest complaint I've had in like the last year is that they made it so smashing hurts your hands, and then that got reverted like a week ago because for it, like one of the devs was like, maybe we shouldn't have this in the game. It doesn't really fit with sense and whatnot. So my biggest complaint has been fixed. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to give a. I don't. It's a hot button topic. I think. We have plenty of reasons, but seriously, none of the dev team is interested in punishing players arbitrarily. Like in my experience, I say something and Kevin basically tells me to go fuck myself and mutes me. So I've seen. Here's the other thing, and we talk about this sometimes. They get a lot of negative feedback, and so a lot of times I see it happen pretty much on a daily basis in Discord. Someone comes in and they bitch and they moan and they constantly complain, and you're like, dude, did you just join the Discord to bitch? And they're like, yeah, I did because I don't like what you're doing. And then they get muted and they get banned and whatever. That stuff happens on a daily basis. So I have seen Kevin be a little abrasive. I've seen like Korg. Korg and I are on good terms. I don't know Kevin super well, so I don't feel comfortable talking about Kevin. But like I've seen Korg. Korg and I have a pretty good, nice interaction. I like Korg, but he can be pretty abrasive because people are constantly tearing down what they do. So when someone comes in and says something negative, they might not be trolling. They might just be saying, hey, this is a problem. But a lot of times on the internet, you express yourself, it doesn't come across the way you meant it, and they're constantly being attacked, so they just immediately assume you're attacking them. Or, I don't know, maybe you were being a dick and he had every right to mute you. I don't know. But I think that when you do something every day, because I use this, we just talked about this like a week ago. I do the same thing on YouTube. I go to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I have like 1,000 videos on YouTube. Most of the comments I get are very positive, but every couple days I get one that's like, "You suck. You should kill yourself." And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna ban that person and not deal with it. And over time, I've become super like anytime someone on YouTube says something negative about me at this point, my snap reaction is like, screw this person, I'm just going to ban them because I'm constantly being torn down by other people and it makes it really hard to see. I don't know how to say what I mean to say. I think I made my point, but I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well. But I think we're going to wrap the stream. My advice would be I don't know. I don't know you, honestly. I think that if you, I've never seen someone who comes into the Discord or whatever who is polite and courteous. Because, like, I disagree with stuff in the game, but I disagree in a way that's respectful and courteous. I don't go in being disrespectful. So I've never seen anyone who's being reasonable and polite. I've never seen them get banned. I've never seen them get anything. It was always only the people who have been really difficult or expressing themselves in a disrespectful way. So obviously I can't speak to your interaction with Kevin, but I kind of am lean on their side. But anyway, this is a whole thing. I don't know if any of that made sense. I don't know if that's good content, but we're gonna wrap the stream. Everybody, thanks for watching. I'm glad people came out. Started a little bit rocky. Glad to see so many people have come out. I'll be back next week sometime, and we'll be playing some more games. So for now, it's a wrap. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.